Welcome back to Mega Man X7. So, last time we fought Red. So, he's dead now, he got crushed by debris, and I guess only some part of Crimson Palace self-destructed because we don't have a time limit here. That being said though, there is the ever-present danger of getting a game over, because this is all one big stage, which means if you lose at any point, you do have to refight Red. Because this is, a little much. I said it last time, this isn't quite King's Castle fuck you, but it's not good either. I do not like the practice of, hey, what if the final level was just really long? People like that, right? And it's like, no, it's just annoying. So we have a split path here, which I'll be showing off all of. So, this first path will be tackled by X and Axel. And this part's just platforming. Very, very slow platforming. There we go. Alright, and I think we're almost done here, right? It's just pretty much, here's your good jump test. Either glide with Axel or double jump with Zero. Or if you have X's glide, do that. If you don't have X's glide, well, don't try using X. Alright, so on Zero's path, which was the path to the right, there's only one section for the right path.
Ready?
And this one gives you ride armor. Alright, so while we kill everybody, I should mention, since I didn't last time, a bit of backstory was actually hidden in the Mega Man X7 OST. That, of course, was Japan only. We didn't get that, so it comes from translation rather than, anything we would have gotten officially in English, but it does drop, like, a few bits of backstory for Axel and Red. Maybe not, like, backstory so much as, like, motivations, I guess. It mentions that Axel has amnesia, which the game hasn't really come out and said directly. It's kind of been implied, though, just because he doesn't know why he exists or why he has his powers. It's just, nobody's gone, Axel, you have amnesia. So yeah, it's just something that's, more implied. Will ever get, observed? Who knows? Red, however, it mentions that he's basically just incredibly mysterious. The most we get is, he may have been from Repliforce. Maybe. We're not even 100% sure of that, but you know what, that'd be kinda cool. I am always just happy to see more mentions of Repliforce. Like, yeah, please, give me these long-running repercussions for what we did in a single game. Like, that has painted a lot of, not even necessarily the main stuff for the rest of the series so far, but, like, at the very least, a lot of background stuff, and a lot of the tone, if not just out-and-out mentions of Repliforce itself. I'm always down for that, especially since, without that bit of backstory from an OST's little booklet, there's no mention of Repliforce in this game. It seems at this point we're kind of firmly past it in the game itself.
Ready?
Look, the apocalypse happened, the post-apocalypse happened, now we're just in the Reconstruction era, which is, otherwise going pretty well. If the whole mercenary thing didn't happen, we'd be doing great. There'd still be Mavericks, but like, I don't know, at this point, nobody's really questioning the Maverick Hunters. We kinda got those guys out of the way, just all the guys go, the Maverick Hunters? What could those fools do after they just bungled the Repliforce incidents? Surely they can't do anything. After fucking Katamari Wily died off screen. People were just like, no, actually, Maverick Hunters are pretty competent, actually. Said actually twice. Yes, I do not remember his name. I remember Gate because I hate him so much, but god, I can't remember the other guy. Yeah, X6, you might have noticed, is not my favorite game. Which is buck wild, because, you know, I was, up to this point, you know, very down on X7. I'm like, ah, dang, I'm getting to X7 soon. Ah, geez, ah, heck. But no, now that I'm here, it is probably in part thanks to the improvements hack, so thank you, normal man, for doing this. But, like, I think nobody's really going to argue that X6 and X7 are kind of the weakest point in the series. But I think which game you prefer kind of just comes down to, what do you prefer? Do you prefer the old stuff that's, you know, kind of mediocre now? It resembles the thing that was good, but it's just really boring. Or do you prefer the thing that tried something new, even if it is extremely messy, and, you know, again, there is a mod. I cannot deny that that helps a lot. But, like, I seem to firmly be in the camp of, this is a breath of fresh air after X6. Anyway, it's time for Boss Rush, and I mentioned before that the boss weaknesses changed, but after observing what the hack actually does, it's only some of the weaknesses that have changed. The description for the hack, you know, all the change list will give you the direct order, which is now Soldier Stone Kong, Tornado Tunyon, Flame Hynard, Splash Warfly, Snipe Anteater, Wind Crowrang, Vanishing Gungaroo, and Ride Warski, and then back to Soldier Stone Kong. But as you can see, this is Snipe Anteater's weapon. Fucking noise. Yeah, this is the Sniper Missile. But yeah, that was killing Wind Crowrang, so only some of the boss's weaknesses changed, like Red in the previous episode. That one did change. So clearly, it's just a few of them here were just changed around. But I'm gonna be honest, I just woke up from a nap. I am not untangling this knot of boss weaknesses to figure out what point actually changed where. That being said, though, I will say, this is probably my favorite setup for a boss rush in the series. Who's this? This is Snipe Anteater. Let's see, he's weak to Splash Warfly's weapon. Normally he's weak to Moving Wheel. Okay, so that's a change. That's a different one. But yeah, I really like this setup of, like, the gravestones, and just that's what leads to the boss refights. To be fair, it's an aesthetic that I feel like Capcom was using a lot in this era. I say a lot. I can only off the top of my head think of the graveyard area from Battle Network 6. So I think I'm just making a pattern out of 2 points, just from what I can immediately think of, but it is kind of a cool aesthetic. I think it especially works here, just because, like, considering the fact that, you know, these were good people, like, they weren't Mavericks until Sigma got involved. You know, obviously they were a little rough and tumble, you know. They were vigilantes, so they weren't perfect, but, like, we've accepted Axel at this point, and he was also a vigilante. And I'd say we like him. I like Axel. Fanbase doesn't like Axel. But, you know, they all come from the same crop, and so it's unfair to say that they were awful Reploids, but they are clearly worse under the thumb of Sigma, and it's sort of a tragedy that they had to die. But, oh god, here we are at Flame Hynard. I'm trying to talk over Flame Hynard. Look, last time I was quiet out of admiration for just the the absolute mess that is Flame Heinard's fight, but I will say it's also just very hard to talk over Flame Heinard. Normally he's weak to Splash Laser. It's probably pretty obvious that's the water weapon, he's the fire boss. Also, you can break the, Big Bull's horns, which does nothing. It does seem to stun it for a moment, but not permanently, which would be nice, because the biggest problem with this fight is pretty much just dealing with the turns and having to hit him with the tornado that has some range. It does go forward a little bit, but boy oh boy is it still hard to hit with. What was I even fucking talking about before we got to burn to the ground? Oh yeah, like, it is essentially a tragedy that Red Alert had to die, and so we get this moment where, you know, it's a very solemn area. We've got this sort of quiet, ominous tune playing as we're just visiting these grave markers and refighting the bosses. Do you think Red created these, like, every time we killed a boss? Like, the moment we killed Flame Heinard, Red just said, I don't really care that I'm being controlled by the Professor. I'm gonna go build Flame Heinard a grave. He never did get over that migraine, and truly that is a tragedy. I'll always remember you, buddy. Especially because there was just a point where you would not shut up about burning things to the ground. Vanishing Gungaroo is also weak to Wind Cutter in the original, so that's a thing that is the same between versions. Also, you might have noticed that I did splice in some Zero footage here. I did have him handle the boss refights. You're not going to be seeing a lot of Zero because I'm gonna level with you. Fighting bosses with Zero fucking sucks in this game. I really don't like Zero's abilities. The ones that are tied to alt weapons are kinda neat, and I really kinda wish they just gave Zero different types of, like, blades or, you know, otherwise martial weapons like this. He gets size here for his wind weapon. It also has unlimited ammo, which I can't argue with. Poor guy's gonna puke. Like, that's pretty cool, but they did try to do the thing where they attached abilities to Zero and just, like, give him basically special moves. And that's, you know, I've liked that in previous games, that he basically just works on, like, a fighting game system instead of, like, the typical special weapons. Like, they're a little weirder to use and maybe not as safe, but, like, you don't usually get ammunition for them. You don't have to usually deal with that. And that's a nice trade-off. And that's still how it works here, but I just don't like his abilities and how they work. And man, his standstill weapon really does want you to stand still for like a good solid 2 seconds. If you have even considered moving within the last second, you're gonna be getting his moving special attack instead. Which, oh, I think his standing is Explosion, and his moving is Wheel. I think that's how it is. I did not use them much, because I don't like them. Splash Warfly just sounds like he dipped his toe in cold water when you hit him with his weakness. Also, much like how Red was, maybe not to the same extent, it is sometimes a little more annoying to fight a boss with their weakness. Because Splash Warfly mostly isn't doing anything except diving underwater. And the one time he did do something, I found it harder to avoid because I was expecting him to just leave. I was just gonna hit him and leave, but no, that didn't work. Also, he's normally weak to Volt Tornado. Alright, so let's see, we're on the 2 boss left mark, right? believe we've been through most of them. 3 boss left. Alright, who did I forget about? Oh, it's Soldier Stone Kong, isn't it? Yeah, that's right. Here's Soldier Stone Kong.
You brat!
You brat! Prepare to hear that for a while.
You brat! You brat! No way!
So yeah, I will say, even with the hack, this game does kind of take this weird, annoying middle ground between making bosses hard, well, not hard with weakness, but you know, not necessarily making the weaknesses a gimme, and also just completely dismantling a boss when you use their weakness. Because their iframes, and the fact that they can really surprise you after being done with those iframes, does make it kind of annoying to deal with these bosses. It makes them kind of slow in a way. But like, you do just completely knock them out of most animations. You just interrupt most of what they're doing with their weaknesses, so it's kind of just this awkward, you just kind of stand around knocking them over. Jaw, indeed. So yeah, normally Soldier Stone Kong is weak to Explosion, which I feel like makes sense, just blow up the rock. I feel like that makes slightly more sense than the wheel, but whatever. Look, the mod's a little weird, but I'll take that. I'll take slightly weird boss weaknesses in trade-off for everything else, just all the other tiny things that made this better. Right, so anyway, Rodborsky is weak to Explosion here. Normally he's weak to Circle Blaze. Actually, wait, no, this is Circle Blaze, I'm dumb. Sorry, Explosion was the one I used on Splash Warfly. I don't know how I got them mixed up, they're so different. Anyway, holy moly! Actually, now that I think about it, I think I only fought one boss, or I only showed one boss fight with Zero. That's how little I liked my runs with Zero. Damn it. Actually, wait, no, I think this is Explosion. I just looked up Circle Blaze and the icon is different, so yeah. Again, how could I mix them up? As abilities, they're so different. There's a reason I did not use abilities much in this game. I really do just prefer the regular run-and-gun abilities in this one. Alright, so, last and least is Tornado Tunyon, who is normally weak to Gaia Shield, and he's weak to, in this hack, you guessed it, still Gaia Shield. They did not change this one. It is still very awkward to use. Not insofar as actually hitting him with it, though that is also very awkward, but mostly just, this becomes a battle of just bullying Tornado Tunyon by just lightly tapping him with a bit of rock every time he's vulnerable. Oh, he's mad. Onion's mad. Onion's mad. At this point, I just feel like a jerk. That was awkward for everybody, Tornado Tunyon. Nobody enjoyed what just happened. Alright, so, that's all the bosses. Red Alert is dead a second time. So, who's up next? Well, for some reason there's no grave marker here, there's just a portal. Despite the fact that, if anybody should have a fucking gravestone by this point,
It's up to you.
it should absolutely be the one, the only,
All right, we know you're in there, so come on out, Professor.
It's Sigma.
For coming by, fellas.
Okay?
You in the comfort of my own home.
In my own pajamas!
Did all the work.
It's been so long since I relaxed in my home base like this.
It's you after all.
You never give up, do you? Even when we break you down to scraps, you always come back.
That's right, folks.
That's right, folks. No, he did actually degrade further. He's a game show host now. We have to kill him before he gets any worse.
Like you always do.
Alright, so here he is. It's Sigma. So, he's got a gun, but that's not really a big deal. So, he's normally weak to Wind Cutter, and he's still weak to Wind Cutter. And when he stops defending, like a coward, he is in fact absolutely weak to this ability. He refuses to do anything, and then immediately teleports away anytime you hit him with his weakness, so... This battle is kind of a joke, because as long as you can keep nailing him, which is incredibly easy to do, he can't do anything against you. Yeah, see, he takes his gun out, and I don't care. So like I've said before, I'm really not a fan of the fact that they really backtracked with Sigma after X6. If they were really going to bring him back after he was supposed to be dead forever, I like that he just came back completely wrong. I think it was a good idea to just have him shout constantly and be a zombie. He is just absolutely fractured by that point in X6. He is just... I mean, there's really no other way to describe it. He is a zombie. Like, for the man who was already plaguing the series, coming up in every game and being the true evil behind everything, the Sigma virus actually degrading was pretty cool. I like that as a concept. And then they just take it away, and Sigma's just very normal here, other than being a game show announcer. And I think it's really a step back, which is a shame, because I'm not, like, the most... Like, I like the plot of this game okay. I don't think it's anything amazing, but it's entertaining enough. I found it interesting. But then, yeah, you just have Sigma, and it's just... Okay, Sigma's normal, we're still fighting him. X isn't really that surprised to see him. Anyway, though, here is the final Sigma. It's just a gigantic Sigma. So, he's actually got a few weaknesses, but the most worthwhile one to use, I think, is Gaia Shield. Because not only can it reflect those green blasts, it can also reflect his punch as well, though unfortunately that's just like an after-the-fact thing. If you let him punch you when you have Gaia Shield up, then he will hit you first. Like, almost certainly, you'll take a hit, but then he'll be repelled. Which, God, I would have loved if Gaia Shield just inexplicably knocked him back. Like, that would be cool. And kinda harken back to the days where the weapon is the one you'd least expect, or is kind of weird to use in that context, like Topspin for Mega Man 3, Bubble Lead from 2. Yeah, here's the one where you have Gaia Shield, the shield weapon that doesn't even block your entire body. That's incredibly useful, actually, because it can reflect his fucking wind-up punch from a distance. Look, I just want a Platinum Games-esque sequence where you just reflect his punch so hard, and it looks really cool. Otherwise, though, yeah, this is kind of a simple fight. Bear in mind, other than the punch and the green blasts, you can't reflect anything else he does. But considering how far away he is, yeah, I still think this is the most worthwhile weapon. I also don't know if any of the other weapons still affect him in this hack, because I didn't really try them out that much. Like, I tried everything against him, but I found everything kind of lackluster, until I just started reflecting the green blasts. I do wish the rest were reflectable. Oh, can't reflect the crotch laser either. But yeah, Gaia Shield I just found to be the handiest. But yeah, you can go to the left, and that goes kind of upward, and you can also go to the right, that goes a bit downward. I would not recommend that, because all the other platforms are pretty small. I think he changes up his attack pattern if you go up there. It feels like he was using certain attacks a little more frequently when I was to the top left. Can't say that for sure. And I would much rather have the room to move about to do stuff like dodge this attack, which is kind of a fun dodge. Apparently my depth perception isn't the best though, because I still got hit by that other one. Whatever. You get kind of a cool zigzag pattern. Even if I do repeatedly fail to dodge that, okay. I guess you get less space than I thought. Apparently the Z-axis is not super useful, which is too bad. I will also say, I appreciate that they did get a 2D and 3D segment in for the finale. Sigma, the first form, was 2D, this one's 3D. So that's cool. They have the 2D, 3D gimmick even now. God damn. I got kinda sloppy at the end here, but to be fair, this battle kinda goes on for a while. Especially once you hit the second half. Second half he really doesn't like using moves that let you attack him. Which I guess makes sense, but, you know, makes you more annoying to fight, Sigma. Also, I did not get to finish by reflecting a punch, sadly. Oh well, Sigma's dead. We're done. Oh, now it's self-destructing.
This way! Hurry!
I lived, bitch.
Oh, you should have used Gaia Shield, Axel. Aw, jeez.
I will return in a new form.
You know the deal. We've been through this 6 times before this. Now, I'm not gonna deny that you'll kill me here.
I found you, Zero and X.
Very nice, Red.
Hey, where have you been for the last 30 minutes?
Oh, you know.
Oh, with this
Dead,
power,
idiot.
I'll never lose.
Oh, right, you can copy people's forms, shit. Well, down goes Sigma. Goodbye.
Well, it looks like the rookie proved himself in the end. He just had to kick his friends first.
Are you okay?
Pretty cool, eh? You've got to give me some credit.
I don't have to!
Fine, let's get out of here.
I'm still a prickly bitch.
Hey, wait for me!
Alright, so that's the regular ending. But this game also has 3 different endings depending on who you defeat Sigma with. So now you know I had to beat the game with 0. Thankfully I could just, like, save state before the end on the X and Axel run and just make that easy. I didn't want to have to play through Crimson Palace 3 goddamn times. Once was enough and 2 was pushing it.
In addition, Axel has shown up to assist in a total of 14 incidents involving Mavericks.
What?
He's made mistakes.
Hold up, I think the audio equipment glitched. Alia, repeat that? You just said Maverick.
A lot of problems.
Who cut her off early?
X, do you think we could make Axel a hunter based on his good deeds?
No way! Don't you get it?
They're not good deeds at all!
For such methods.
Methods? X, ideals are not always for the real world. Without you, somebody has to become a hunter. Why can't you train Axel to be one?
I don't wanna!
Never. You could never train somebody to be a hunter like me. It isn't possible.
That might be the most out of character I think X has been in this entire game.
Afford to stand
I can't justify that line.
Although I know that's what you wish for. And we all know that we haven't seen the last of the Mavericks.
But why? I tried so hard!
And got so far! Are you telling me in the end it doesn't matter?
Now you listen well. Being a hunter is not all about defeating the obvious enemies. If you don't understand this, I can't allow you to become a hunter.
I don't understand. I just did what I thought was right and fought those who did wrong.
Yeah, but you don't have depression. That's the important thing.
It will only create new resentment.
I'm different from other Reploids because I'm depressed as fuck. Dr. Light made me like this. That's why you can't be a hunter like me.
I just took far too long to realize that.
Outbreak in the West Sector.
I'll take care of it. I can handle this, X. I'll get you to make me into a hunter yet.
Well, wait, Axel!
I don't wanna.
Why don't you let him do what he wants this time?
No! If I don't stop him now, he'll make the same mistakes we did.
X?
Alright, well, that just sort of petered out, and with that, we're at the end of Mega Man X7. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna say this game doesn't have faults or anything, but I enjoyed myself way more than I thought I would. So I think this game's strengths are definitely in the 2.5D sections. I think of the gameplay styles, I usually prefer those. I made the joke when we were fighting the one mini-boss that it reminded me of Cannon Spike, but in general, I do actually think the shorter, fightier sections are the more interesting of the 3D sections. Like, when they were like that, I actually kind of enjoyed them. The more open areas in 3D tended to be kind of dull, like, Lava Factory was eh. The initial plane section and the airship stage was meh, but anytime it was just, like, brief and more about just fighting guys, I enjoyed those more. Like, the battleship was cool, airship interior wasn't too bad, as was the, like, defense section in that one. The ride armor was pretty cool. I know people aren't going to be the biggest fan of that no matter what, because they tried to do something different with it, and that's kind of hard to do. Like, having to translate the X series to 3D is difficult. It's not really an easy task, and they didn't do a perfect job, and it's definitely not one-to-one, but that's harder to do than you might think. Like, it took them years to do a 3D Kirby game. You wouldn't think it would be that difficult, but if you read the things they had to do to kind of make Kirby fit that space, it's like, oh, actually, no, you can't just make a 2D game into a 3D game. Considerations have to be made. Which is, you know, why I think the 2.5D sections were a little better. Those were closer to what they'd done in the past, but with a little more depth, and they could, you know, do a little more with the aesthetics of the stage to kind of make that world pop a bit more, and those I found were pretty good. They're not going to stick around with that for the long run, though. They tried something with 7, it didn't work out, so next game we're kind of just going back. But yeah, that's most of my final thoughts on X7. Other miscellaneous stuff. Music was good. Story was fine. It was entertaining enough. Nothing bored me as much as Gates, and the voice acting was fun for the most part. Maybe a little murderous with Flame Heinhardt. that one's out for blood. But yeah, I've been Fefner. That's Mega Man X7. See you next time for Mega Man X8. After, of course, we get Zero's ending.
Where am I? Huh?
Oh, not this crap again. I thought I was past this. I thought we were done.
Eliminate the Mavericks. The Mavericks.
The Mavericks. I'm obsessed with them now, Zero. I hate them so much.
What happened, Axel?
The Mavericks, I hate them.
Just a dream.
I hope that's not some kind of foreshadowing for a different series.
Do you read? We've located the runaway Maverick Grogs at point F5113.
That's right, the younger brother of Don Mandriller.
I hear you.
Grog's Mandriller. He's out for revenge. He wants to kill Axel. He's not accepting Axel's face turn, so he's just doing a rampage now, I guess.
Out of the way! Out of the way!
Huh? Wait a second.
Are you stupid? You're in danger if you just stand there.